What we're doing today is going under the iceberg. Let's go into your subconscious a little bit, and we're going to slow down what we call rapid cognition. That rapid cognition, when you see a behavior, you interpret that. I think this about these people, and then I evaluate them with our emotions. My favorite ones are greetings. In Mexico, is it one kiss or two kisses? One. In Paris, is it 3 kisses or 1 kiss? 2? Some would say 4, depending on what part of Paris you're from. In Saudi, what's that?
I said, oh, how handsome the guy is.
Oh, okay. Good. In Saudi, let's say in Riyadh in particular, how would a woman do a greeting with a male colleague? Don't with no physical contact at all, no shaking hands. Oftentimes when I'm teaching in that area, I recognize you, but no shaking hands, especially if we're in a very conservative area. So when we look at these behaviors, and let's look at one where maybe you are working in Saudi Arabia and you have not had this experience. When you're walking along, your counterpart from Saudi will take your hand and walk with you down the street and just pet your hand while you walk down the street. How does that feel for some of us who have not had that experience? So then we interpret, this is uncomfortable, I don't know what this means. And in that context, it has enormous value that you're beginning to build working trust, but you feel uncomfortable in this situation. What we're going to do is slow down your rapid cognition, and this is what is a best practice in the cross-cultural space. Can I observe myself, how I am judging the other because of my own emotional attachment to how men and women should behave in this particular environment? So what are some of the tools? What are some of the things we could use to slow down that thinking? What I'd like to do is to talk a little bit about a tool that we use that comes from cultural anthropology. And what we have learned about cultures is that we have some similarities and some differences in our value system in terms of how I view my identity and how I view motivation. What motivates me in one culture, whether it's organizational or national culture, may be very different than what motivates you in another culture. This is the world of values. I love going into the world of values, and often they are underneath the iceberg. How can we develop some understanding of our value system even when we are unconscious of it? Another way that we differ across various cultures is our thinking style. Some of us are extremely deductive thinkers. Let's start with the big systemic picture first. And some of us value inductive thinking. Let's take one step at a time. Have you ever been in a negotiation where you have deductive thinkers and inductive thinkers negotiating and they can't even decide where to start? And what happens is you build up what we call that social dissonance in the group as a result. Because you're not aware, I am highly attached to deductive thinking, and the other is highly attached to inductive thinking. What are some ways that we can, in a non-judgmental way, determine, I really value deductive, you value inductive? Let's find a way to create a new culture, a new norm that we can reward and reinforce and come to expect. This is how our team is going to develop its reward structure. Another area is around what we call interaction style. And we're going to look at some examples of this. How do people generally engage with each other or communicate with each other? In some cases, some of us are direct communicators. What does a direct communicator do? I will give give you an instruction. I'd say, Sonia, would you go open that door? Direct communicator. Indirect communicator would say, Sonia, are you warm? Should we open this door? What kind of social dissonance happens between the indirect and the direct communicators? And these are culturally rewarded in some organizational cultures and in some national cultures. And we carry around the software in our brain and we walk into these new situations and we don't see value in the way that they operate.